It's gone from winter to summer. Because we forgot we had some spring this year and now this year. So
Oh, yes, there is, especially Fremont's too small. Yeah, I had two trees that were smaller than coming up on the weed yet.
whoa, that's awesome. I had some irises removing things. Like this. But can't find the rest of them. Before it dropped down.
It wasn't just a weed.
All right, good evening, everybody. Time is 6:30. We'll go ahead and open up public comment. Views expressed by individuals during public comment do not necessarily reflect the views of the city of Fremont and have not been verified for accuracy by the city. As a reminder, the city council and staff are not permitted to respond to comments or questions during the public comment period in accordance with Fremont Municipal Code Section 2-103. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person, shall not contain topics included on this evening's agenda. So if you are here and would wish to speak, there is comment cards in the back as well as a sign-in sheet. So please sign in and you'll be able to speak and just come up here to the front. And we'll have this again until 7 o'clock. So.
zoning thing. Up to 200, more than 201. Well, if it's 225. It's not addressed. It falls out of the, and to me, that falls out of the ordinance. I think this should read up to 200 and more than 200, then more than 200 and more than 201. Small change, but. Send an email. Response.
For those that just came in, we are in open public comment until 7 o'clock, so it allows any member of the public to speak on any item that's not on the agenda for up to 3 minutes. So if you do wish to speak, there is a sign-up sheet over there, and there's also comment cards as well. Again, we'll be having this till 7 o'clock.
Hey, gentlemen, how are you on? Congratulations. Thanks, Diane. Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Wasn't there.
Here they come.
Okay, the time is 7 o'clock. That closes public comment. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll go ahead and open up the regular city council meeting and call it to order. Again, the time is 7 o'clock. The Opens Meeting Act is posted on the wall to my right. And at this time, we'll have a roll call for the city council.
Ganem,
Present.
Laidrup. Here. Jensen.
Here.
Sukram.
Here.
Von Baron.
Here.
Vaughn,
Here.
Dinkins,
Here.
Warner,
Here.
8 council members are present, Mayor.
Okay, next is mayor's comments. I do have a few items tonight. First of all, we have one November Service Award to Amy Painter, 5 years of service with the city of Fremont. Amy started with the city in 2019 as an accounting associate. We want to thank Amy. She's not able to make it tonight, but appreciate her 5 years of service. Would also like to mention, we were not able to make it, but last night I heard some really great comments on the tree lighting out at the library. And so it's beautiful out here right on Broad Street and very well attended and lots of stuff for kids. And so also just appreciate you opening up the library to have our meetings. You know, I was in the second level of the municipal building and the renovations are coming along pretty well. So you know, hopefully we'll be on schedule and looking forward to that, but appreciate all the libraries done. Also just wanted to mention the Christmas walk is this weekend downtown Fremont. So get out and enjoy the Christmas walk. Really appreciate Main Street and the BID and all the work they've done to put on a great event every year. And also we have Thanksgiving coming up and wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. So we also tonight, it's my honor to have our 2024 Fremont Cross Country State Champions here. We have made it a tradition that if there is a high school team that has won a state championship, to honor them publicly here at our city council meetings. And so I just would like to read a little bit about this team because they had a very remarkable year. And so I guess the Tigers, they entered the 2024 season as a preseason #1 ranked team in Nebraska, and would maintain that ranking from the beginning to end. The team's final record was 134-4, pretty good, with their only losses at 2 major in-season regional meets, and were all against eventual state championship teams from other states. So Fremont would not see #2 ranked Lincoln North Star until the conference meet in Kearney, and the race was highly anticipated as the buildup resulted in 2 teams that were undefeated against Nebraska competition. North Star was well noted for a strong top 4, while the Tigers were said to have an even more depth on their side. Seniors Juan Gonzalez, Noah Miller, and Jay Slade would go #1, #3, #10 in that meet to earn all conference honors, while junior Michael Nichols would pick up #17 spot in the meet to keep the Tigers within 11 points, with 1 score on each team still to cross the line. In just his first true varsity meet, the Tigers' 5th man was Aiden Soto, who moved from 22nd to 19th in the final 400, dead sprint to the finish, to give the Tigers a 3-point win. The Tigers then ran to an easy win in the A1 District Championship by medaling all 7 runners while qualifying for state. And the media in the lead up to the state meet once again spoke heavily about the dominant front 4 of Lincoln North Star, and whether or not the Tigers' depth would be as big a factor as it was at the conference meet. But on this day, however, Fremont's top 4 earned all state honors and matched Lincoln North Star's top 4, while seniors Raymond Wise and Mason Now came in significantly ahead of every other team's #5 score, giving Fremont a 15-point win in the state meet for 62-47 over North Star. Specifically, Juan Gonzalez was the all-class gold and state meet record time. And also Noah Miller came in 5th, was the 3rd fastest time ever at state. Then #8 came in 8th was Michael Nichols, 11, Jay Slade, 28, Raymond Wise, 32, Mason Now, and 60th is Aiden Soto. But what a fantastic team effort to take the state championship. So in addition to the front four taking all state honors, Juan, Noah, and Michael also earned super state honors by being in the top 20 of all four classes. It was Juan Gonzalez's third straight state championship win, which put him as one of only 8 runners to ever accomplish that feat. It also moved Juan up to third in the individual national rankings to end the regular season. So what again, fantastic season going from your conference meet to taking on Lincoln North Star, overcoming that and winning that meet, coming back to state and having a great state meet. And obviously Juan with, gosh, what an amazing career. But one thing, to win state, it's got to be a team effort, right? And you guys really represented the city extremely well. We're super proud of the work that you've done in your season, and congratulations on your state championship this year. So we have all the Tigers here, as well as Sean and Beth McMahon and assistant coach Alex Wade and Ross McMahon. So guys, let's give them a round of applause for them. All right, now it's picture time. So let's come up right. Gotta document this, huh? Two rows. Good idea. How do you guys run that fast, huh?
Right, smile, right here. Congratulations. Are there any parents that wanted to?
Coaches.
Come on in, coaches. Absolutely.
They're like, I'll be here next year.
Make it a goal, right?
All right, thank you.
Right. Well, we appreciate you coming tonight, and thanks again for all the work that you've done and what will represent Fremont. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, that concludes my comments, and we'll go on to item 1. We'll get to the business as the motion to adopt the current agenda for the November 26, 2024 regular meeting. Councilman Supran.
I'll make that motion.
Councilman Vaughn.
I will second.
Von Baron,
Yes.
Sukram,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Lathrop,
Yes.
Ganem,
Yes.
Horner,
Yes.
Dinkins,
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0, Mayor.
Moving on to the consent agenda, all items in the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or a citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda by council or staff? Are there any items to be removed from the public from the consent agenda? Okay, seeing none, I take a motion to approve the consent agenda. Councilman Jensen.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda as published.
Councilman Vaughn.
I will second.
Lathrop,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Sukram,
Yes.
Von Baron,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Dinkins,
Yes.
Horner,
Yes.
Ganem.
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0, Mayor.
Moving on to unfinished business, this is item 11, ordinance 5700, amending sections 11-324-04E and G to allow the city council to waive minimum lot size requirements for lots platted prior to January 1, 1971, to allow the construction of single-family detached or single-family attached two-family dwelling units and or a subdivision of a lot to allow the same. This would be for second reading.
Good evening, Jennifer Dan, Planning Director. This ordinance, I knew that would happen. Spam. Sorry. This ordinance is to amend the code to provide you with some flexibility for opportunities in the older parts of town where the pattern of development has not standard sized lots, but big lots and small lots. We have several lots that have 2 houses on them, people who want to subdivide those. So really, the intention of this is to provide some flexibility, and with that, I'd be happy to answer questions.
Questions for the planning director? Okay, I don't see any. Are there any comments from the public on this item? Okay. Seeing none, any additional comments from council? If there are none, I would take a motion. This is to hold second reading. Councilwoman Ganna,
I move that we hold second reading for ordinance 5700.
Councilman Vaughn,
And I will second.
Von Baron,
Yes.
Sukram,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Lathrop,
Yes.
Ganem,
Yes,
Horner,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
we'll have second reading.
An ordinance of the city of Fremont, Nebraska, amending Exhibit B of ordinance 5427, specifically portions of the UDC, Chapter 11, zoning, subdivision, and site development, Exhibit B, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and providing an effective date on the second reading.
Councilman Jensen,
I'm gonna make the motion, we waive the rules and move ordinance 5700 to third and final reading.
Councilman Horner,
I'll second.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Horner,
Yes.
Ganem,
yes,
Lathrop,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Sukram,
Yes.
Von Baron.
Yes.
The motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
Aye.
An ordinance of the city of Fremont, Nebraska, amending Exhibit B of ordinance 5427, specifically portions of the UDC Chapter 11, zoning, subdivision, and site development, Exhibit B, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and providing an effective date on final reading.
please call the roll for the final vote.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Horner,
Yes.
Ganem,
yes,
Lathrop,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Sukram,
Yes.
Von Baron,
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
The ordinance is approved 8-0, Mayor.
Moving on to new business is resolution 2024-271, approving the proposed Keno grant awards as recommended by the Keno Advisory Committee. I have our staff report.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council, Angie Olson, Grant Coordinator. This agenda item is to approve the fiscal year 2025 Keno Grant Awards. Keno proceeds go to property tax relief. And we do set aside about $50,000 a year to allocate for grant funding for local area nonprofits and a few other organizations as well. The Keno Advisory Committee met November 12th, and we received, let's see, 8 applications and over $130,000 in requests, $50,000 to allocate. So as you can tell, they had their work cut out for them to do that. And so you have on your staff report the applicants, the projects, and the recommendations from the committee. There were a few things that they did consider and look, actually several things. But some of them were, now that we've revised the guidelines, really sticking to those and knowing that, you know, we'd like to fund everything, but we just can't do that every year. So one of the things that was really kind of held strongly to was projects within the city limits. We had 2 applications that were taking place outside of the city limits, and those were recommended not to receive funding. And then other than that, really projects that would have the most impact on the greatest population within the city of Fremont. And I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Councilman Dinkins,
I'm just curious, which ones were the 25% grant match and which 50 or?
Sure, so Friends of the Key Memorial Library are 25%, and Ridge Cemetery are a 25% match. And those are the 25% match. The other ones are a challenge grant. So the 25% match they are capped at 10,000. The challenge grant awards, there is no cap for those, but there is a 50% match required.
Thank you.
Councilman Horner?
Yeah, thanks, Angie. Appreciate the recap on this. Can you speak a little bit to, and I don't know if you have all this information, but can you speak a little bit to, I'm just looking down the list and I'm wondering, you know, we've got Cats Angels on here at 10,000 and they got the 10,000, and we've got YMCA on here at 10,304. I kind of can understand, I guess, Fremont Art Association asked for all of it. So maybe kind of understand why that one didn't get done, but just off of the ask, but just between those two, just as an example, I think it'd be good for me to hear, maybe for the rest of the council to hear, is how are you making a decision between two organizations like that?
Sure. So there is a small matrix that the committee members can use, and there's some discussion, but I will tell you that really the top three that you see here were the top three, and it was agreed, I mean, instantly, like those were the top projects. So that really left about $10,000 to allocate. And then it came down to, if you split that, you're really, you know, just funding a small portion of some of the
Right.
projects. So you're trying to kind of leverage that to do your best.
Yep.
And there was a lot of discussion on that last $10,000 and how that should best be spent. And I know that the committee tried their best to pick a project they felt would be helpful for the whole community.
Is there a matrix scoring system that you use to kind of guide, and then do you just kind of go with where those numbers fall? How does that work?
So there is a matrix. It is based a lot on discussion. So they receive a matrix for each project. It's a short little matrix that I have here. Their questions really reflect the guidelines, and I don't keep them. We meet, they get them, they're able to score them, and then we meet as a group and we discuss where everyone fell. And like I said, it was agreed the top three projects were the top, you know, three. And then we just kind of have discussions from there.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Jensen?
I'll just, along that vein, I understand that part of this also was, like the Cats Angels, this is animal control for the entire city, whereas the YMCA, this is a project for something that is not available to the entirety of the city. Is that not correct?
That was kind of, I think, how the committee members were viewing it. The YMCA is based on memberships, and Cats Angels covers the whole city. And I will say that there was discussion on Cats Angels has received quite a bit of funding through this program in the past. And so there were, you know, questions on whether or not they would continue to be funded, or at least as funded as highly as what they have been in the past. Just because I think overall they have received more funding than any other organization.
Councilman Von Baeren?
Yeah, just a little clarification. We've had an informal committee that's been meeting, reviewing animal ordinances and going through those. And we've gotten through most of the ordinances. But one of the toughest ones, frankly, is the feline ordinances. What do you do? And so, yes, we've gone back and forth on this one, but I think the point of this one is it's difficult to justify a community-wide control of the cat population. Even most people acknowledge that most people don't see the feral cats that are sitting out there. So what we suggested to Cats Angels in this case is that they target a couple of the key areas and set up basically a proof of concept program, where there are a couple of areas of town that seem to have more problem with stray cats, feral cats than others. And so we encourage them to go in, begin a spay neuter trapping program, and within a year or so, try to come up with a metric to show that that program does in fact work. We assume that it does, But basically, this is more than just their routine work. This is a proof of concept to try and finally demonstrate that, look, if this program is executed properly, it can be successful. So that's one of the reasons for the amount of the request.
Councilwoman Ganem?
I will just add to that because I'm on that committee as well. And we certainly have had a lot of dialogue on cats and feral cats and domestic cats. And I will share with you, Cats Angels, I think, does do a tremendous service for us in addition to Forever Homes. But they do capture or take in over 600 cats a year. That's significant. And if we were to have to pay for that, that would be just this is a drop in the bucket for them probably. Because the veterinarians charge for spay and neutering just $100 just right off the bat. And we can't find any less than that. So I just wanted to say that they do a valuable service in animal control for the city of Fremont.
And I'll just say, I'm a member of the committee as well, Councilman Vaughn as a member, and we had again, all worthy organizations that are doing fantastic work in the area. We just had, redid the guidelines of the Keno grant guidelines that were approved by council. And so with the amount of asks that we had to come, basically to the conclusion that we came to, and it was difficult, but again, all worthy organizations, and appreciate all the work they're doing. And so, we really had to stick to the guidelines on this go around. And so we're glad to get a lot of requests. That's great. That's what we want in the program. But with only, with 130,000 and 50,000 to go, that's kind of where we landed. So.
And I will say too, we did discuss in our meeting that when, so everyone gets a follow-up letter, and the ones that did not receive an award will get some feedback too, to take forward as well.
Any other comments or questions for that? Thank you. Anybody here to speak on this item?
House Hotel, 1324 Glenwood Court. I'm chairman of Ridge Cemetery. Ahead of the game here a little bit, if the council would approve, we really appreciate the money, the grant, and the committee to select us as one of the top. If you know anything about Ridge Cemetery, it's more than a cemetery. It's really a city park. If you go out there and you see the number of people that walk and ride their bikes, and you'll even see people sit by their graves with their lawn chairs and picnic baskets. And it's actually like a park. I don't know if they talk to their relatives and loved ones at the park, but if you do go out there, it's interesting to stop and visit with them. There's a lot of history out there. And the thing that this money will be used for is to raise the stones so people can see their name and their loved ones above ground because they're sinking. And there's also a safety issue that a lot of these stones are leaning. And there's kids out there, and there's people that walk through the grass, and if somebody would hang on a stone and it would fall over, somebody could seriously get hurt. So we appreciate it. There's a lot of neat history out there, and we invite all of you to come out and also to see the new building that the city built. We have our meeting out there last time, and we'll go back to the city venue next time, but it's really neat. Stop out, take a look, and again, we appreciate what the money is going to be used for. If you have any questions, should be glad to answer them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here to speak on this item? Okay. Any additional comments from the council on this item? There are none, I would take a motion. Councilman Vaughn.
Motion to approve resolution 2024-271.
Councilman Sukram.
I will second.
Porter,
Yes.
Deanna,
Yes.
Lathrop,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Sukram,
Yes.
Von Baron,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
motion carried 8-0, Mayor.
Moving on to item 13 is resolution 2024-272, approving the revised local option economic development fund application. We'll also have a staff report from Angie Olson.
Good evening again, Mayor and City Council, Angie Olson, Plan Administrator. So we have a local option economic development fund application. If you don't mind, I'm gonna call it the LB 840 application, just for reference. And the purpose of the fund itself is to create new jobs, retain existing jobs, and expand our labor market and economic development here in Fremont. We've had an existing application for several years, and since I've been on board, I've kind of watched people fill it out and kind of missed some steps here and there. So it was kind of time to revisit and freshen it up a little bit. So that's what you have before you tonight. It's the same application. Really, most of it is just a layout application. Some places where people were getting a little bit confused because of the flow. And there is more of a focus on the intake form, which is something that we ask for ahead of time. It's about 2 or 3 pages, and it's not a part of the application, but it's kind of the pre-application. That way, we can have them fill that out. We can meet with them and then recommend a full application or explain why maybe they're not eligible. So that kind of can save some steps in filling out a full application. Other than that, it's more layout changes, and the Economic Enhancement Fund, which used to be part of this application, has come out of it, and the Department of Utilities is working on a process for allocating those funds in the future. It didn't really make sense for those two to be together because really our economic development plan is something, that you need to abide by in order to get the LB 840 funds, but not necessarily the economic enhancement funds. And I worked with finance and city attorney, and there are some requests for additional financial documentation. Other than that, I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Councilman Horner?
I'm gonna do the same thing on this one, Angie, if you could. I think it'd be helpful if we kind of understood the process. And I guess where I'm going with this is you're in the process of changing kind of how the application is done, et cetera. But is this a good time as well to maybe review that process itself? How does that happen when a application comes in? Who makes the recommendation to move that forward? Do all the applications automatically go to the local option review team, or do some of them, are they vetted somehow and then they move forward? How does that work?
So, so the first step will be intake form. They fill that out. They meet with staff, and then from there, if it's eligible, they'll be asked to fill out a full application. And that includes financials. So then internally staff reviews that, and that's myself, city administrator, as well as the finance director. And the finance director, her task is mainly on the financials and any risks involved with the application. And then from there, it goes to each committee. We haven't had one that wouldn't be eligible to go forward, but if we did, I would work with the city attorney on that. We actually had one that moved forward to the CARC, the Citizens Advisory Review Committee. And during the meeting, they increased their request. So that kind of changed the agenda and everything. And so we took a step back, and then they ended up not moving forward and not continuing or revising their application to move forward. So that one didn't come forward for that reason. So we haven't had that happen, but it would just be something that internally and with the city attorney would work on it to see. But
Well, yeah, and the reason I'm asking the question is I was going through and I was just reading the process, and it's quite in depth. I mean, it really is. And so eligibility is pretty well spelled out. So I mean, I would think that if somebody had applied that wasn't eligible, they probably hadn't been reading everything that they should have.
Well, and that's one thing that is different from the last application is, I spelled out even more of that eligibility, because I think it is confusing, and I think it's confusing for some smaller businesses that don't have staff especially to fill out things like this. And so, trying to spell all of that out more, but I also will say that our plan itself does say that, you know, the applications go to the CARC and they go to the LORT, the local option review team. And even if they're not recommended by the local option review team, the applicant can still request to bring it forward to council, and then council would vote on it.
Okay, so the local option review team can say no, but it could still come forward.
Right, right. They could say they don't recommend it. And the Citizens Advisory Review Committee, they're looking at applications from a standpoint of, is it in line with our plan? Is it eligible? That's really all. Is it an eligible business, eligible project under that plan? If so, then they will recommend it. The local option review team is looking at it more from a benefit for economic development in Fremont.
Okay, so can I,
Yeah.
Travis, if it got to the point where it was turned down by, you know, a previous step, and then the option came to the council, can we make modifications to that, or is it a straight up and down yes or no vote for the council at that point?
Make modifications to the.
Well, could we
application.
recommend a less number? Could we,
You could approve the lesser amount than what's in the application. But then it would likely be back to the drawing board, because the plan is usually very thoroughly thought out, where that's their formula, but generally, if it's not an eligible business, there'd be no reason to even let them get this far.
Okay.
And that's statutory and in our plan.
okay,
And the recommendation is internally discussed by staff. It's not a recommendation or a request from the applicant. So that's, and we have a matrix that we use as a roadmap. It's not set in stone, but it kind of gives us some guidelines on where people might fit.
okay, well, I appreciate the explanation, because I just said it's a in-depth process, and I just want to understand it and just make sure we're looking at the whole thing. I know the application is just one small part of it, so
Right.
if there's any other improvements we could do to, because I think it's a very important process that we do for the city. I just think this is huge for us.
Right. Well, and I will say that we are trying to highlight and educate a little bit more. And Jody and I actually had the opportunity to go to one of the awardees last week and check in on their project and see the progress and, you know, take a couple pictures and things like that. And we're going to try to do that outreach more often. It's hard to get out of the office, but try to raise awareness by doing those types of things as well.
All right, thank you.
And I'll just say, I mean, I think you did a great job with this, and the fact that we're really trying to manage their expectations too on the front end. So that when they, you know, fill out the intake form, that they're eligible and that they work through the process, and it's just not, here's my application. That, you know, we actually help walk them through and give them more service than what they would be getting right now. And it is a very thorough process, because then they have to go to 2 committees, then they have to come to council. Usually that owner of the applicant is there at both of those committees and the council. This is a very big time commitment for them, and it should be. I mean, this is sales tax dollars coming in for that purpose. So there should be that feeling of accountability for them. And so any way that we can manage their expectations better early on, I think sets it up for the future. So appreciate the work you've done, Angie. Any other questions at this point? Okay, are there any comments from the public on this? Any additional comments from council? Councilman Sukram?
If there's no other questions, I'll make the motion.
Councilwoman Ganna?
I'll second.
Lathrop,
Yes.
Ganem,
Yes.
Horner,
Yes.
Dinkins,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Von Baron,
Yes.
Sukram,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
Item 14 is resolution 2024-275, authorizing USGS joint funding agreement for maintenance of cameras, gauges, and supporting equipment for the Platte River monitoring. We have a staff report on this. Okay,
Tony Sanders, City Administrator. Throughout the process, since the flood, we have been in partnership with the Lower Platte North Natural Resources District, the county, and in this particular case, the Capio Natural Resources District as well, placing cameras along strategic points along the Platte to determine flooding levels. I think I sent last spring, I sent to the council the link where you can check on the river flow and the river gauges. This agreement actually just extends, we did that first installation of the cameras in the first 3 years of maintenance. This is just extending the agreement for another 5 years with the Geological Survey Group, the U.S. Geological Survey Group, to just continue the agreement as we have, where it's basically divided between the 4 entities. I'll take any questions.
questions on this item from the council? Thank you. Is there anybody here to speak on this item from the public? Okay, any additional comments from council? Councilman Horner?
If there are no other comments, I was just going to make a motion that we approve resolution 2024-275.
Councilwoman Gannon?
I'll second.
Ganem,
Yes.
Lathrop,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Sukram,
Yes.
Von Baron,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Horner,
Yes.
motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
Item 15 is ordinance 5702 for a text change 11-825.0.02 regarding temporary construction signs or banners. This would be first reading, and there is a request to suspend rules and move to final reading while staff report.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, Jennifer Dan, Planning Director. This is a request to add some language to the text of our zoning regulations that would allow temporary construction banners or signs of up to 32 square feet. One on properties up to 200 linear feet of frontage. Two, if they're over 200 feet of frontage. Currently, only one temporary banner or sign is allowed for 30 days up to twice a year. In most cases, when somebody is constructing a development, they like to advertise either what's going in the development, who's financing it, or architect or engineer or things like that. So this would allow that flexibility. This is coming up now because we have a pretty exciting development going on downtown for the police station and RVR Bank, and we would like to be able to put some banners out there to advertise that those are coming soon. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Councilman Horner?
Two, why only 30 days on something like this? And then the other one was, would you consider modifying item number E? To eliminate or to say, frontage up to 200 feet and then it would go with more than 200 feet. So you have the one condition up 200 feet for one and then more than 200 feet for the two.
I'm fine with that language. The 30 days is not applied to this text change. That's how it's currently written. I don't know why it's 30 days up to 2 times a year. It's just how it is in the code.
It just seems for the advertising window on something like that, and especially a wonderful project that we would like to. It
This
seems
would
like
be
a,
longer than 30 days,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
This allows it to
No,
be
this
in
is-
place.
okay, I misread
during
that
The
then.
construction of the building.
Okay, all right, I
Current
got you.
Regulations only allow it for up to 30 days,
Okay.
so you might have a banner that says now hiring. And you could have that in place for 30 days.
Gotcha, okay.
Going out of business sale or something.
All right,
like that.
okay, I see that. Well, I would make the recommendation though, if you guys would agree with it. Because I know it's a small deal, but right now you've got 1 foot there that's kind of being unaddressed and it's,
I'm fine with that.
yeah.
I'd like to make that change.
I would feel better about it if it were that, so that would be my only. One is that I would make a recommendation if we do. Or when we do approve that we would make that change.
Yeah, you wanna move to amendment?
So,
Yeah.
Well, if we,
Resolution.
is this now the time to do it?
well, we'll get through any public comment if there is any, and then we can. Go with that.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any, comments from the public, this item? Okay, we're back to council, so the motion would be to amend, which it says frontage up to 200 feet. And 2 signs may be permitted on sites with more than 200 feet of frontage, that's
Yep,
what we're talking about.
That's correct, yes.
So, I guess I'd take that's a motion to amend, are you good with that language?
I'm good with that
Okay.
language.
Okay, Councilman Vaughn,
I will second.
is everybody clear on
You're just changing the 1 to a 0.
1 to a 0? So we'll amend it and have a vote then.
Horner,
Yes,
Deanna,
Yes.
Lathrop,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Sukram,
Yes.
Von Baron,
Yes.
Vaughn,
yes.
Dinkins,
Yes.
the amendments approved 8-0, Mayor.
All right. Councilman Jensen,
I'll make the motion to hold first reading of ordinance 5702 as amended.
Councilwoman Ganna,
I'll second.
Dinkins,
Yes.
Horner,
Yes,
Deanna,
Yes.
Lathrop,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Sukram,
Yes.
Von Baron,
Yes.
Vaughn,
yes.
the motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
our first reading.
An ordinance of the city of Fremont, Nebraska, amending Exhibit B of ordinance 5427, specifically portions of the UDC, Chapter 11, zoning subdivision and site development, Exhibit B, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for severability and providing an effective date on first reading.
Councilman Jensen,
And I will make that motion to suspend the rules and move ordinance 5702 as amended to the third and final reading.
Councilman Sukram,
I'll second.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Von Baron,
Yes.
Sukram,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Lathrop,
Yes.
Deanna,
Yes.
Horner,
Yes,
Dinkins,
Yes.
the motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
final reading.
Ordinance in the city of Fremont, Nebraska, amending Exhibit B of ordinance 5427, specifically portions of the UDC of Chapter 11, zoning subdivision and site development. Exhibit B, providing for repeal of ordinance and conflict herewith, providing for severability and providing an effective date on final reading.
Please call the roll for the final vote.
Jensen,
Yes.
Sukram,
Yes.
Von Baron,
Yes.
Vaughn,
yes.
Dinkins,
Yes.
Horner,
Yes,
Deanna,
Yes.
Lathrop.
Yes.
The ordinance is approved 8-0, Mayor.
Now take a motion to adjourn. Councilman Sukram,
I'll make that motion.
Councilman Jensen.
Second.
Oh, sorry. The lights got me off there.
Yeah, so wait a minute, what's going on?
All right.
Dinkins,
yes,
Dinkins, Horner,
yes.
Deanna,
Yes.
Lathrop,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Sukram.
Yes.
Von Baron,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
motion carries 8-0, Mayor.
I must have been thinking very loudly.
I think it was you and I did it with James and I said your last.
Yeah, you know.
Have a good night, everybody.
That doesn't improve with age. That does not.
Happy Thanksgiving, all.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Turkey Day.
Don't eat too much.
I think you got a good mile ago, so you won't.
Yeah, we're kind of doing exactly like this. Everybody's working, so we're not doing ours until next weekend.